is getting something no other live-action Spider-Man ever did, a fourth solo film. So why is Tom the chosen one? It starts with what Holland's Spider-Man represents. While Tobey's version was emotional and Andrew's was edgy, Tom's Peter Parker was built to be flexible.
Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow. Whoa, who's that new guy? Oh, that's me. I gotta go.
A Spider-Man that could evolve with the MCU. He debuted in Civil War, was shaped by Iron Man, and became a billion-dollar icon by the time No Way Home hit theaters. But here's the real key. No Way Home didn't end his story, it reset it. Unlike the previous Spider-Man, Holland's character arc is still wide open. He lost Aunt May, lost MJ, lost everything. He's now in a classic Spidey suit, broke, and anonymous again. That's a clean slate for storytelling, and Marvel isn't wasting that opportunity. There's another reason Tom Holland is the only Spider-Man with a fourth solo film. And it's not just about story, it's about business. Let's be real, Spider-Man is Marvel's most profitable character, but Marvel doesn't actually own him. Sony does. Back in the 90s, Marvel sold off film rights to survive bankruptcy, and Spider-Man went to Sony. That's why the Tobey and Andrew eras happened without Marvel Studios. But Sony hit a wall. After The Amazing Spider-Man 2 flopped critically and financially, they had no plan. Their universe was collapsing, and that's when Kevin Feige stepped in.
And Kevin came to me with a really fabulous idea. And ideas are everything.
Bringing Spider-Man into the universe where he belongs, as all the fans know, interacting with the other characters for the very first time, and it seemed like the right time to do it.
Marvel Studios offered Sony a deal. Let us use Spider-Man in the MCU, we'll make the movies. You'll still own them and profit off them. And that's how Civil War and Homecoming happened. The result? Box office gold. Spider-Man Far From Home made $1 billion worldwide. No Way Home made nearly $2 billion worldwide. Merchandise sales exploded, and Tom Holland became the definitive Spider-Man for a new generation. So why stop at 3? Tobey Maguire almost had a fourth film. Sam Raimi was developing it.
You know, everybody's intention is to get it out for 2011. We're totally in process in terms of the development of the story, and you know, there's really good stuff there.
Vulture, Black Cat, a darker arc for Peter. Tobey was on board, so was the fan base, but Sony didn't want a thoughtful finale. They wanted another blockbuster fast. Raimi walked, the movie died, the reboot was greenlit the same year. Tobey didn't lose the role because he aged out. He lost it because the studio lost patience. Marvel gave Holland what Sony never gave Tobey: creative breathing room. Then came Andrew Garfield, grittier, wittier, and set up for long-term plans. Andrew Garfield loved being Spider-Man, and it showed. But Sony rushed The Amazing Spider-Man 2 to set up a franchise, not tell a story. Sinister Six teasers, weird Oscorp secrets, forced romance arcs. The heart got buried under corporate ambition.
And to serve this incredible character that I've been dressing as since I was 3.
Yeah.
And then it gets compromised, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah,
I got heartbroken a little bit to a certain degree.
In a move that shocked the industry, Sony gave up full creative control, handing Spider-Man to Marvel. That decision only works if the next actor can win everyone over. Enter Tom Holland. Fresh face, no scandals, no baggage, a blank slate. He instantly clicked with audiences and castmates. And the studios knew, this is the guy we can build a decade around.
Fast forward 6 weeks, I was still waiting, and one day Marvel just posted on their Instagram, go to our website to find out who the new Spider-Man is. And that's it. I just found out online. They didn't call me up or anything.
Tom Holland didn't debut in his own movie. He showed up in Captain America: Civil War with no origin story, no Uncle Ben speech, no setup. That sounded risky, but it worked. Marvel introduced him through the lens of Tony Stark, giving him instant credibility without over-explaining. By the time Homecoming dropped, we already knew this Spider-Man could handle Avengers-level stakes. Instead of carrying a film alone, he got to grow within a larger universe. No other Spider-Man had that advantage. Not even close. Each generation has their Spidey. For millennials, it's Tobey. For some Gen Xers, it's even the animated series. But Gen Z? They grew up with Tom Holland. He's in their memes. He's in their TikToks. He's in their Marvel starter packs. Tobey's Peter delivered pizzas. Holland's Peter live streams from the battlefield. He's awkward, anxious, and obsessed with pop culture, just like his audience. This connection isn't about acting talent. It's about cultural fluency. That's why Marvel kept building around him. Tobey started out mature. Andrew was brooding from day one, but Tom, he played Peter Parker like an actual kid. nervous, overwhelmed, full of wonder. And Marvel let us watch him grow. Over 5 films, we saw him lose a mentor, a home, his identity, and finally, everyone he loves. Back in 2019, Sony and Marvel publicly split. Negotiations fell apart, and it looked like Spider-Man was out of the MCU for good. Most actors would have been sidelined. Holland didn't wait. He personally called Disney's Bob Iger to push for a fix, and it worked. Sony and Marvel got back to the table. The deal was salvaged.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving!
That kind of influence, it's unheard of from an actor in his early 20s. It proved Holland wasn't just a piece on the board, he was playing the game. Tom Holland literally saved Spider-Man's place in the MCU. Let's go back to No Way Home for a second. That movie wasn't just a fan service event, it was a send-off, a spiritual goodbye. Tobey's Peter got to meet a younger version of himself who reminded him what responsibility really means. He stopped someone from making the same mistake he once did, saving Norman Osborn's life in a way he couldn't before. And that back injury joke, that was a wink to the years we missed. The hardships, the aging, the cost of the suit. He's still Spider-Man, just a wiser one.
That's good.
That was it.
Wow. That's good.
That was closure. Andrew Garfield's Peter got maybe the most emotional redemption of all. He saved MJ, a moment that he couldn't do for Gwen. The way he broke down after that catch wasn't just acting, that was a character healing. It gave his version of Spider-Man a sense of peace he'd never had. So what reason would there be to drag them into another full solo movie? No Way Home was their Spider-Man 4, their TASM 3. It just didn't need the title. But Tom's Peter Parker was left with nothing. No friends, no Avengers, no help from Stark Industries, and no one who even remembers he exists. His ending wasn't closure, it was a reset. It was Marvel saying, we're finally going to show you the real Spider-Man now. The one who makes his own suit, pays rent, fights street-level villains, gets beat up, and goes home bleeding. The fact that No Way Home ended like that, on a quiet, snowy night in a crappy apartment with a sewing machine, proves everything. This is just the beginning for him. Tobey and Andrew waved goodbye. Tom is just opening the door. But to be honest, Tom Holland's been open. He doesn't want to play Spider-Man forever. He's talked about burnout, about starting a family, even stepping away from acting altogether. But here's the catch. Marvel offered him creative input. That means control. That means meaning. That means legacy. He's not staying because of money. He's staying because the next arc actually excites him. When the actor believes in the story, the audience feels it too. That's what Marvel's banking on.
The best thing for the character. I don't want to make another movie for the sake of making it. I don't want
to... The studio wants you to make another Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do. And I want to make another one. Mm-hmm. I want to make many more, but I want to do it for the right reasons. And now, like I said to you earlier, sometimes I miss the day when getting the job was the win. Navigating and figuring out what having that kind of power means and that responsibility.
Yeah.
Here's what's different now. Marvel and Sony aren't just making movies, they're building entire timelines, a web of stories across universes. Sony is pushing characters like Venom, Morbius, and Kraven in their own corner of the multiverse. Meanwhile, Marvel is deep into the multiverse saga, Secret Wars, incursions, variant timelines. And Tom Holland, he's the only Spider-Man who bridges both sides. He exists inside the MCU. But thanks to No Way Home, he also has connections to Tobey, Andrew, and Sony's multiverse. That makes him the perfect centerpiece for everything that's coming, including Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. In fact, that's why Spider-Man Brand New Day isn't just Spider-Man 4. It's a strategic reset. It strips Peter Parker down to the essentials. New suit, no tech, no Avengers, so he can be the ground-level hero people always loved. But it also opens the door for him to grow into the leader of the next generation, a mentor, a multiversal warrior. Maybe even the anchor being of Earth 616. And here's the business genius. This means Tom Holland can stick around for 2 trilogies, one grounded and street level, one cosmic and multiversal. That's something no Spider-Man actor has ever done. Right now, the MCU is divided. On one side, you have massive world-ending threats, Kang, incursions, Secret Wars, multiverse decay. On the other, you have the boots-on-the-ground stuff, Daredevil, Echo, Kingpin, Moon Knight, The Punisher, and now Spider-Man. But Brand New Day is doing something wild. It's putting Spider-Man right in the middle of both. We already know this is going to be a street-level story. The tone, the grounded visuals, the homemade tech, everything screams a return to basics. Tom is broke, alone, unknown. This isn't Iron Boy Jr. anymore. This is Peter Parker struggling to pay rent while fighting mob bosses and weird animal-themed villains. But then you add in the new suit, raised webbing, symbiote tease, Doctor Doom post-credits rumor, and even the return of Hulk and Punisher. Suddenly, this isn't just a friendly neighborhood reboot, this is a multiversal pressure point disguised as a street-level movie. And this is exactly why it works. Because Tom Holland is the only Spider-Man who can sell both sides. He can cry on a rooftop alone and stand beside gods. He can fight Tombstone in the Bronx, then end up battling Doom in a collapsing timeline. That kind of range? It's why he's still here. Think about it. Tobey's Spider-Man never dealt with aliens. Andrew's Peter never met another superhero. But Tom's Peter, he was knighted by Tony Stark, he bled on Titan, he met 3 versions of himself, and now he's got a Venom symbiote in his universe, and possibly a Doctor Doom post-credit scene in his movie. The multiverse is leaning on him. And yet, he still feels like the guy living down the hall, trying to keep his mask clean and fix his web shooters with duct tape. That balance is Marvel's secret weapon, and it's why Holland is the first and only Spider-Man with a 4th film. We're entering what fans have called the trilogy, and if you know comic history, this is where stories get real. This is where Stacy shows up, where Harry Osborn becomes a threat, where Peter makes devastating choices that across the rest of his life. The original trilogy with Tobey Maguire gave us the wide-eyed teen version. The Andrew Garfield gave us the emotionally conflicted loner. But Tom Holland, he's finally stepping into the role of the adult Peter Parker, the one who carries the weight of 2 lives and doesn't always come out smiling. And the beauty of it, we get to with him all over again. Here's the part one wants to admit. MCU is rebooting. Not in the way DC the slate clean, but subtly, strategically, from the inside out. With the multiverse saga wrapping up, Kang's influence collapsing timelines, and Avengers Secret War looming on the horizon, everything we've known about this universe is about to get rewritten. And what happens after that? Who's going to be left to lead? Not Sam Wilson, not even Captain Marvel, it's Spider-Man. Tom Holland's Spider-Man is being positioned as the emotional core of whatever this next era Marvel becomes. Think about it. He's the only character who has ties to the old Avengers, Tony, Strange, Fury, has street-level roots for grounded storytelling, and now is being rebuilt from the ground up, giving Marvel a clean slate to grow him into something iconic.
Interesting.